Hey guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video, we'll look at 15 different things you need to do after you install Ubuntu Linux. Now I'm logged into my Ubuntu Linux machine and I have a terminal open here, and the commands we're going to be running are going to be mostly on the terminal. The first thing you need to do after you install Ubuntu Linux is you need to do an update of your packages, and the command to do that is sudo apt update, and they should update the packages. So once you have the packages updated, what you'll need to do next is to do the actual upgrade. So it says that 33 packages can be upgraded. Clear these, and then to do the upgrade, we'll do sudo apt upgrade, and we'll do -y for yes. So let's wait for this to be done. And it's almost done here. And the upgrade is done. Now we'll move to the next step. The next thing you want to do is you want to change all the default passwords. So if a machine came with a default password for any of the users, you'll need to go ahead and change the password. The command to change a password for the current user, you just use sudo +wd, and you press enter, and then you'll need to put in the new password. So I'm not changing the password here, so I'm going to skip that process. Now, if you have a user name that you like to change their password, you can do sudo +wd. Then you'll need to put the name of the user. Say if you have a user named Joe, and then you have to put in the new password and retype the password. Now let's go ahead and look at the next thing that we need to do once we install Ubuntu. You might want to add a non-root user, and the command to add a new user is sudo add user, and let's call the user Jane. And the user has been created. We'll need to put in a password, and I'll just press enter for this. Press Y for yes. And to check if you've created the user, you can do cat etc +wd, and at the bottom here you see we have the new user. If you want the user to have sudo permissions, you need to add the user to the sudo group, and the command for doing that is let's clear this. The command is sudo user mode -ag, the name sudo, which is the group, and then the name of the user Jane. And now if I check that group, let me grab name sudo, and we can see here the users Eno and Jane are in that sudo group. Okay, let's move to the fifth step. This one is for checking your IP address and verifying you have internet access. You can use IP address command. This will show you if you have a valid IP. And if you wanted to check internet access, you can try and ping a website like google.com, and I'm able to ping it. I'll use Control-C to end the ping. Because I'm getting responses, I know I can reach that site. The other thing you might want to check is to verify that your DNS is working correctly, and you can use the command nslookup and then the name of the site here, and you can see that it's resolving google.com to this IP, and this is the DNS information it's using as far as this DNS server. If you needed to configure like a static IP or change the DNS information, you can go to this icon here, click on it, and go to settings. Then under network, under wired, you can go to this setting icon, and then under IPv4, right now I'm using DHCP. That's how I'm getting my IP address and DNS. If you needed to change it to manual, you can select manual and type in your IP that you're using, the mask and the gateway, and you can also put in DNS information. So let's cancel this. Okay, let's move on to the next command. The next command is for setting up your time zone. So you can set up your time zone using this command, sudo dpkg reconfigure tz data. And here you just use your arrows to select the area or country. So just use your arrows and then select OK, press enter. Select your city, use the arrow, enter. And now you can see that we have the local time is showing here, and we have the time zone or where we are located. Moving on, if you have a need to access this Ubuntu device remotely, you'll need to enable SSH. Let's go ahead and check. So let's go ahead and check whether SSH is enabled. The command to do that is system ctl status SSH, and it is enabled and it's active running. If it wasn't, you just use system ctl enable SSH, or if you needed to start it, you can say start SSH. The other thing you might need to do is you might have to set up SSH keys. If you're looking to just use SSH keys for authentication, you'll need to generate a SSH key pair and then make sure that you have that public key available to use for authentication. Now that's a whole video for doing that, generating the SSH keys and exporting the keys. So I do have a video on how to do that, and I'll provide that link to that video in the description of this video. Once you have the keys, the other thing you need to make sure that you have configured correctly is the SSH config file, which is located under etc sshd config. For instance, if you needed to use public key authentication, that's if you have a key pair, SSH key pair you want to use, you want to make sure that this line right here is not commented out. I do have a video that shows the process for generating the keys and configuring this file to make sure that you can actually use the keys for authentication. So I'm going to exit out of this. Let's look at the next thing we need to do. So the other thing you need to do is to enable unattended upgrades, security upgrades of your machine. And in order for us to do that, we need to install the unattended upgrades package. The command for doing that is sudo apt install unattended upgrades. And it's on its new version already. I don't need to install it again. Then once you have that installed, you can do a test. You can test the configuration. Now, once we've installed that unattended upgrades package, you can test it using the sudo unattended upgrade try run debug, and that should run a test for us. And in this case, it didn't find any packages that can be upgraded, and it didn't generate any errors, so we know we're good there. The next thing you might want to do is, if there's any tools that you use that you need to get installed, you can use the sudo apt install command to install the tool. Let's say you wanted to install htop, just type htop. You should be able to install htop. Okay, we'll get out of that. And also, if you need to use VPN on your Ubuntu Linux machine, you'll need to install that. And that's a whole other video on how to do it. I have a video on my channel here on how to do that. I'll provide a link in the description. Now, you can also customize your bash prompt, and you can also create aliases. For instance, if we wanted to see what we have, these are the different aliases we have on here. If you wanted to create your own, say we want something like this that sorts by time, starting from the newest to the oldest. So we can call it something like alias lt equals to ls lt. And now if we go under aliases, it's right here, and I can use it by typing lt, which sorts everything based on the newest. Okay, and like I said, you can customize your bash prompt. You'll need to edit the bash rc file. Let's see. So you'll need to edit this file right here. So let's look at the file. We'll use less here. Bash rc. And as you can see, there's quite a few items you can change. As long as you know what you're doing, you can come in here and modify, even have the aliases in here. I'm gonna exit. The next step is to do a backup, and if you're looking to backup, let's say you're looking to backup a directory, you'll need a tool like rsync. So let's go ahead and install the tool. We'll do sudo apt install rsync. So it's already installed. Now to use it, you have to provide the source and destination directory or file. You just type the command sync, then let's say archive verbose human readable, and we want to backup say home and then the user here, documents for instance, and we want to back this up to this directory media backup. Let's call it backup documents. That's the command you'll need to use. And finally, if this is a virtual machine you're running on either, let's say, VirtualBox or VMware, you'll need to install VirtualBox guest editions or VMware tools. This should allow you to get better performance and functionality. So those are 15 different things you can do or steps you can take to make sure that your system is up to date and you have the correct tools available for you to start using your Ubuntu Linux. So I hope this information has been useful. I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks. Bye.